All right. Likutei Moharan, Tzivit Tzedek, Torah Chav Gimel. We are holding somewhere in the middle. Let's see if this is. Let's see if hey. Okay, so we are holding by וזה שכתוב בתיקונים, and this is what's written in the תיקונים, תיקון ג' it says, תחול, the spleen, דליליס. The spleen, you know, that there are different kind of medicine systems in the world. The Western ones, which take the physical organs, kipshutei, you know, the heart is the heart and the spleen is the spleen, the physical. But then there are different medical systems, like the Chinese, the Eastern Bichlal, where the the physical organs refer to spiritual essences or centers. You know, the heart is one thing, and the lungs in it is another thing, and the kidneys is another thing, and the spleen is another thing, and they have a certain kind of medicine which is based on earth, wind, sand, and fire, and water. They also have. They have, and there's a certain kind of. So whatever it is, it seems that the medical system that the Torah is talking about is most definitely spiritual, without any doubt. So זה שכתוב בתיקונים, and this is what is written in the Tikkun Zohar. Tchol, the spleen, dalilis, that represents the klipa of Lilis, which is the spheres of Malchus of the klipa, So Ima de Erev, that is the mother of Erev. The same way that the Malchus de Kedusha, that the Malchus de Kedusha is, you know, the mother, you know, of all the world, that gives the world, you know, all the shefa and everything else. And the Malchus is the recipient of the shefa, of all the spheres that come before it, but with the ability to progenate. In other words, to get something which is not complete, and hold it, and develop it, and give forth something better. The klipa has the same capacity, where the malchus is the lamed yud taf, this is the malchus the klipa, and that gives birth to klipas. That's the neshamas of Erev Rav. That's the neshamas of Erev Rav. These are Jews that don't make tshuva. They're mixed with Am Yisrael. And from her comes schok exil. From her comes stand-up comedy. From her comes the laughter of the fool. Who are you making fool of? You know, it's a funny thing. It's a funny thing that in America, you're not allowed to make fun of a race, which is very chashuv, very important. But on the other hand, you want to move this to give him a chair. On the other hand, they have absolutely no problem. They have absolutely no problem with making fun of a specific person. You know, you can make fun of a person to the point you can kill him. That's okay. But you cannot make fun of a whole group of people. And this is this. The Tikkun Azeh says that the Tchol Dal Lilis, the spleen, represents Lilis. That's the Malchus of the Erev, the mother of the Erev. That's the Malchus, the Klipa. And it says Schok Aksil, the laughter of the fool. The laughter of the fool means the laughter of the one who usually does not laugh last. It says Man Ksil. It says who is the Ksil? Who is the ultimate fool? Da Elacher. This is a foreign god. That's the Samech Mem. That's the husband of Lilis. He's called Melech Zokan V'Ksil. He's an old and foolish king. Ayin Sham. V'yu Askara L'Ravya. And Lilis is that klipa that causes the sickness of Askara to babies. Now, from what I understand, Askara is some kind of a digestive system, esophageal problem. I'm not exactly sure what it is. What's Askara? Yeah, with it's that babies dies from it. Lilis is bichlal the klipa. I mean the klipa that kills babies. That's her hobby. It says Askal Rabia. It says Dinun Chayava. It says these Ravia, these children that we're talking about, these are the real meaning of it. These are the Rishonim that are mixed in Am Yisrael and don't have any mind. They're like babies. They think, that they can go ahead and fight Yiddishkeit and fight the Jews and fight this. Just Jews? How can you accuse me of being anti-Semitic? I'm a Jew myself. I can say whatever I want about Jews, right? Hey. It says they are like babies who have no mind. It says the Imad Erev kills them. And it says Chaychis Beutra Be'alma. So what the Klipa does, the Klipa plays with them with wealth in this world. It gives them wealth in this world. And afterwards, it itself kills them. This is one of the basic tenets of the Zohar. It says that wealth plays with a person, teases a person, and kills him, ultimately. The basic of what we're saying over here in this particular Torah is that there are two exposures. There is what we call the Ponim de Kedusha, the face of Kedusha, which is synonymous with life. It's synonymous with Simcha. It's synonymous with everything good. And there is Taivas moment is the lust for money, which represents the face of the Sitri Achra. That's the face of defilement. This is synonymous with darkness, with death, and with depression. And all those that don't believe that the Kadosh Baruch Hu can sustain him easily, just do something. And he's running after his parnasa, he's driven, he's like sacrificing his entire life. As if he has like a big chayv, like he has a big debt to pay. He has to make money. He has to this. He forsakes his family. He did everything. He is misdabek in this panim de sitra achra, in face of sitra achra. And that, it means this misdabek in death, la'aleinu. That's the spiritually that's the spleen. He's stuck with this eon of spleen. And that's what the Gemara says, Yosef Mar ben Achas and Mar de Oga, the more property you have, the more worry you have. What Rabbeinu explains here, it's not that, listen, you got more property, so you got more to worry about, because you got to split yourself in 12 different ways to worry about your whatever it is. So you can say, what's the big deal? I can find a solution. I get a management company, let them run my property for me. I don't have to worry about it. I can get myself, a villa in the Caribbean or whatever it is, in Barbados or in Aruba, and I'm, it's just no problem, But the point is, no, because the property itself is the depression. So that means the more property they have, the more depression they have. It's not a result of the property. The property itself is the depression, because it constitutes the fruits of his being connected to the face of Sitra Achra, to the face of death, of darkness, so basically money in this world plays with a person like a cat with a mouse. You know how a cat is teasing the mouse. Go over here and 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 go over here. In the meantime, the koyach of the mouse is like seeping away and seeping away and seeping away until at the end it just kills it. This is wealth plays with people in this world, and then it kills them. And Rabbeinu says in Sichas Haran that the wealthy people, most of them, the great majority of them, are insane. They are insane. The reason why they are insane is, first of all, because naturally speaking, nobody ever tells them no. Who's going to tell them no? Everybody will say anything they want just to be close to them. And when you grow up, everybody telling you yes all the time, and you get away with it, of course you go nuts. The only thing that really makes us normal and keeps us in line is because we have boundaries, because there are certain things we can get away with. We don't like it when we don't get away with it, but that's actually the thing that enables us to keep our sanity. Every system specifically of sanity is really, a trail of do this, and you can do this, then you can do this, among a sea of don't do. Even technical things. You want to play the violin, okay? So you have to hold it this way, not this way, not this way, not this way, not that way. Only one yes amongst, and then after you do this, you're supposed to hold it like this, not like this, not like this, not like. In other words, another yes between a choice of endless choices of nows, and then only that kind of yes after yes after yes, putting away a whole a forest of no's, that's called the system. That constriction is the thing that afterwards allows you to play the most beautiful music. No, I don't want to play with it with my hands. I want to play with my legs. Go ahead. Don't expect Beethoven concerto out of that, right? So the same thing is over here. Says so the Lilis is joking with the Chayava, with those with the sinners in this world with money, and afterwards it kills them. Ki elu mishukuim b'mammon, all those who are steeped in money, and bivchinas b'itzavon tachaleno. they are steeped in this klala that the Kadosh Baruch Hu gave Adam Arishon. In sorrow you shall eat it. You should eat your sustenance. You should eat your food. As we explained yesterday, a klal of HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't mean that it's a usual situation that most people lie there, no, what can you do? The grunts, they have to go to work. But if you're lucky, you're out of the curse and either your father is rich or you strike it rich, or you had an uncle in Dubuque, Montana or Iowa, or wherever Dubuque is, that you never knew about, that left you, a fortune, whatever it is. He says, okay, or you won the lottery, bam, you got it made. The truth of the matter is, then the Tzavon Tachlena is a curse of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, which means there's no way to get out of it. The Tzavona has to be there. Either it is by procuring the money, the parnosa, or else the sorrow is going to be from the wealth itself. But there's no way to get out of it. In other words, the curse is, it's the best thing for you if you have to work for it. And you have to, and then you do Masa Matan B'Emunah, you do business honestly, and the whole thing, it becomes your best thing. That's the pshat of a curse. A curse doesn't mean a predicament. A curse means, it's a new environment. This is it. That's your environment. It's the best thing for you. You can do good with it, you can do bad with it. You can suffer from it, or you can benefit from it. But that's the best thing for you. Because there's nothing that corrupts people like money. Nothing. On the other hand, poverty is no picnic either. So it all depends how it is done. Same thing when you have somebody as an oisha, a rich person, who is a kosher yid, a real kosher yid. There's hardly a more beautiful thing. You can see it specifically people who run moistus. That start moistus and they run them. Specifically tzedakah moistus and stuff like that. In the corporate world, everybody is trying to show how brilliant he is, how high it can get, and how it can throw the blame on somebody else. But in the moistus world, when somebody is a El Chayid, you come to meet him, you realize, especially somebody who feeds people or takes away, you're talking to a melech, you're talking to a king. And usually when he makes the decision, is it good for the business or, for the moised, or is bad for the moised? There's nothing else in it. He's totally, because a true king is a true slave of the people he takes care of. Right. That's why about David the Melech, he says it's Eved Hashem, this is David Avdi. He's an Eved. Moshe Rabbeinu is an Eved. And he's Moshe Eved Hashem. Vayibishur in Melech, he says in Am Yisrael there was a Melech. But nevertheless is Avdi. Why? Because a true Melech is a slave of his people. And that's what makes him a Melech. So the same thing.
Hashem comes first. The people that work for him come first. Before he even feeds himself. Make sure they're taken care of.
Absolutely. And he says, those that are deep in money, and that in sorrow you shall eat it. That is synonymous with the spiritual meaning of spleen. Minyan בשמונה וחצי. שהוא בחינת עצבוס ומר שחורה וריבוי דאגos. That chor, which is atzvus, which is sadness, and mara shchora, which is depression, v'ribu daigus, that's a plentiful of worries. That's what latest is. V'mekushorim befon sitra acha, and they are connecting with the face of sitra acha. They are connected to it. They represent it. The truth of the matter is, when you look into a face of a person who is really deep in greed, you can see that the face is dark.
Greed.
Yeah. You can see a darkened face. There is a certain coarseness and a spiritual darkness on the face. Nothing matters. Nothing matters. You know, when you meet somebody who is into money, you know, the Chidush Harim said the Kadosh Baruch Hu gives every person what he wants. So how come he doesn't give me money? I want money. He says, because you don't really want money. What you want is you want to get rid of your debts. You want to bring the parnasa to your house. You want to have a little leisure. You want to have a little rest from this rat race of life. But it's not money that you want. You want what money can bring you. So it's not money that you're looking for. Obviously you want to bring up your children l'torah b'masim tovim. Then the Vada, he says you're going to bring up whatever it is that Kodesh Baruch Hu is going to give you, you're going to raise them right to the best of your abilities. You don't get money. But people who want money, dafka money, they get money. They get money. And when you look at the face of somebody that this is what he wants, you see that he looks at you, and he sees you as a sandwich with legs. You're there to be eaten, or to be used, or to abuse. You don't mean anything. You don't count for anything. Somebody once says, everybody wants to be friends with rich people. Because they figure, if I'm his friend, maybe he'll give me money. How do you think he became rich? The first qualification to becoming rich is the ability to prevent people access, justified or unjustified access to your money. That's the first prerequisite of becoming rich. The answer is no. All this constitutes the spiritual essence of the spleen. Ima de Erev Rav, the mother of Erev Rav. These neshamas that are mixed in the Jews, they're considered Jews, halachically they're Jews, but they're really Erev Rav. The Moshe Rabbeinu took out of Mitzrayim, and they're the one that bring Am Yisrael down. Tzchok Haksil, the laughter of the fool, Elacher, the other god. And afterwards it kills them. Kivadai, a moment, the money, which is tchol, which is spleen, atzvus, which is sarah, horegus, it kills them. Because the money of such people is death itself. It's death, it's slow death, but it's death itself. Anbin chashuchin atzvus, dark face and sorrow. And this is what's written before. Matzah or moitza. They said that I find, there are two psukim. This says, Matzah isha matzah toev, he found a woman, he found good. And the other pasuk, it says, Moitza and yisa isha mari maris, I find a woman more bitter than death. So the question is so matzah or moitza, which is it? So they always say, when somebody gets married, what is the story with him? Is it matzah or moitza? So he says, in other words, he has a good wife or a bad wife. Because it says, found woman, found good. I find a woman more bitter than death. Why this is in past tense and this is in present tense? Because we get used to good. You get it, you take it for granted. You have a good wife, which means you found a wife and everything is good. But people never get used to bad. If you're still finding your woman again, that means that it's more bitter than death. Because you never get used to, to slides against your cover and putting you down and driving you crazy and whatever it is. I'm not going to say it on tape, but whatever it is, there's going to be a million here, Mitzvah Hashem. It is 4156.
There's a Z, X, Y coming up.
Well, if you start to see, it clears everything else before. You did? I don't know if that's the key, but you can try it.
Oh.
That might be. Might be. Try it.
All right.
I don't know if it's still the key, whatever it is, try it and then you'll see. Is it? Oh, okay, I think that we're just about it, but let's just wrap it up. We're about there? Oh? 8:40, okay. So the thing is that people say, I'm asking Kodesh Baruch Hu for money all the time. I'm looking for ways to make money all the time. So what are you telling me? I'm stuck in Parnas Yitzharacha? No. You're supposed to do that. You need money. You need money to take care of what you need to take care of. And not only this, but Mammon the Kedusha is a very, very great thing. It's a very great thing. You're supposed to take care of it. He says, who is the one who's making tzedakah at all time? Zehu Azan, that's the one who feeds his household. You're supposed to look for that. And when you have no money and when things don't go right, what you're supposed to do is to do everything you can in order to do that. That's not the same as being stuck in Sitracha. But when you are driven to help, quote-unquote, HaKadosh Baruch Hu with Parnasa by cutting some corners, by deceiving people, by doing business sh'lo, that is when you're sucked in the Tavas moment. If you believe that the Kadosh Baruch Hu can be mefarnes you very easily, what do you like to do? Whatever it is that you like to do, this is what you should do. The Noam Elimelech says that a person can make parnasa out of making toothpicks. He says as long as the parnasa, that a profession doesn't disgust you. As long as it doesn't disgust you, this is what you need to do. This is not. If do what you like, Kadosh Baruch Hu give you parnasa with that. We'll continue tomorrow.